Good day, everybody. I'm Rona Mann, and you are on the aisle with you. Think maybe I slept wrong last night, didn't get up right? I want you to know what we are going to talk about today. And what we're going to talk about is Hairspray. Hairspray now playing at Theater by the Sea, and probably one of everybody's very favorite musicals. You've seen the movies, you've seen it on Broadway, you've seen touring companies, but Hairspray is unique, and you never really get tired of it because it's so much fun. Well, I'm going to begin by telling you that the season of smiles continues at Theater by the Sea. Bill Haney is a genius for putting together these shows. He's really good. He knows what his audience is like, and he very, very rarely underestimates them. He's just right on the mark with it. So we began the season with Always Patsy Cline, which was terrific. Then we went to Waitress, which everybody loved. And now you've got Hairspray. You smiled, you hummed along, and you remembered Patsy Cline. You laughed at Waitress, and it all continues now with Hairspray. Okay, let's start with the terrific music and lyrics because it's always great when people know a show. Not know it so well where they're going to go singing along in the audience because that's a whole other thing. Sometimes the audiences get way heavy. Not here. Here they were just having such a good time on opening night. Terrific music and lyrics. It's Mark Sheeman and Scott Whitman. Very, very fine. And there are two plots. One of the plots is your typical musical plot. Love, moon, June, happiness, rainbows, all of that. But then there's the underlying one about prejudices. Prejudice about being overweight, prejudice about being a person of color, prejudice about just being simple people living simply in a city like Baltimore. And in the 60s, all that was powerful. Not that it isn't today, because of course it is today. But in the early 60s, it was very much about segregation and integration. And this is a musical that grabs onto that and holds that theme. It's not just mentioned once or twice. It is a powerful show. You're going to recognize many of the songs you already know. Good Morning Baltimore, I Can Hear the Bells, Welcome to the 60s, Hairspray, and of course the big one that you go out humming, You Can't Stop the Beat. But I found two songs that were not as big as those, but they were the ones that stayed with me and were absolutely magnificently performed. You're Timeless to Me. It's a romantic, soft shoe kind of number with a knockout performance or performances by Mark Christopher and Kevin B. Glenn. It was worthy of the reprise that it got. The audience just loved it. These guys had it down perfectly. It wasn't too schmaltzy. It wasn't too over the top. They just killed it, and it was great. And then, completely different, the beautiful second act song, I Know Where I've Been, by Alana Coffin and the ensemble. What a voice she has. All I could think of was that it was reminiscent of the old Negro spiritual. And I can say Negro because they say it plenty in Hairspray, because that's what you said in the 60s. And when you're talking about this kind of music and an old spiritual, that's exactly how it was done. That's what I like about the music. in Hairspray. Every song doesn't sound the same. It goes from rock to spiritual to the soft shoe. It's the entire encapsulation of what a musical should be. The song "I Know Where I've Been," it gets in your head way more than an earworm. It gets you thinking more than any song in a musical comedy is going to get you thinking. And it really deserved the action, the reaction that the audience gave it. It was incredible. It went on and on and on. Screaming affection and approval. I preferred the second act to the first act. It might have been the fact that it was opening night and maybe nerves were a little tighter. Maybe the show wasn't as tight. There were some people who were right on point and some who seemed to be finding their way. Especially, I thought Mark Christopher in the first act, who plays Edna, who plays Tracy Turnblad's mom. It's a fantastic role for any actor. And he embraced it beautifully from about the middle of the first act on. By the second act, he had it down cold. But when he first started, it was a little wonky, to say the least. Um, he's comfortable now in this persona, and I'm sure after a performance or two is doing a great job. The choreography reminded me of the old, not that I was born in, Busy Berkeley. You expected that if they had the cameras up high and you were looking down, you would have had the women in the ensemble doing all those great things that you see almost at the Olympics with the swimmers, the synchronized swimmers with their legs and their arms. It was that kind of choreography. And also, I thought there was a lot of Ziegfeld in it as well. Like I said, Hairspray is everything. It's every kind of choreography. It's every kind of lyric and music. Nikki Metcalf played Tracy Turnblad on the national tour, and they were so lucky to get her. She is so comfortable in the role, but she's not complacent. She is so natural that at times you forget she's an actor. You just want her to be your friend, Tracy. Speaking of friend, one of the very best performances is turned in by Madeline Lave, and I hope it's Madeline and not Madeline. She says in her little bio in the program, her friends call her Maddie, so I'm going to call her Maddie because she becomes everybody's friend right from the beginning. I hate the word when people use the word adorable, but she is adorable. Her performance is just right on. She is a delight to watch on stage. I mentioned Kevin B. Glenn earlier. He was in Waitress. He played Joe, the owner of the restaurant, of the diner, and he did a good job. But here he does a great, great job. And when he teams up with Mark Christopher, you can't ask for better. He just is a talented performer. The fact that he is from Massachusetts, we're going to see a lot more of him. He is an Actors Equity actor, and he is a pro every sense of the word. If I've got but one negative note, and it's probably a small one by now because my guess is it's been fixed. But there were times that either I was trying to figure out either the orchestra was too loud and they were drowning out some of the lines that the actors were singing, or there was a problem with the individual mics that the actors wear. They weren't turned up high enough, or they weren't turned up quickly enough. It seemed like they were jumping in maybe to the second line at times. You couldn't quite hear them. This is so important, but especially when you've got these lyrics and music, when you've got the shaman touch to everything, because so many of those lyrics elicit or should elicit big, big laughs. And I knew the lyrics, I know the music very well. And there were times I was expecting the laugh and the audience wasn't giving it. I don't think they could hear the lyric that was being sung that well. But I'm sure that's been taken care of. Bottom line, Hairspray says right on the bottom, it's only through the 16th of August. Please don't think you've got a lot of time. You don't have a lot of time. I was looking online because you can choose your seats right online if you'd like. And so many performances are sold out. I was looking at one for the end of this weekend. I don't remember which day it was. There were only 3 seats left. So if you're looking for a wonderful time, go do it and do it soon. Hairspray, big hair, big show, and a big hit.